Hi everybody, I'm Clare Girton, and this is the very first episode of Around Town with Clare Girton. This is a show about anything of interest in and around town and along the main line. Today I am very lucky to have my first guest to be the president of the Wayne Business Association, Deanna Doane, and I'm so thrilled you're here. Thank you for agreeing to be here.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Deanna, I know that you are, even though you're new to the presidency at the WBA, you've been with the WBA, Wayne Business Association, for how many years?
8 years. Someone asked me that earlier today, so I had to think about it. 8 years.
Years of volunteer.
Of volunteer, yes.
Work.
It is a volunteer organization, yeah.
And can you give me a little background on what the WBA's mission is and what actually we do at the WBA?
Sure. It's an organization that's been around for over 80 years, which is not many associations can say that, a business association. And if you look at our website or you look at anything we do, one of the biggest things is we connect commerce and community. And that means that we reach out to the community, we reach out to local government and connect them with all of our membership. So not just those businesses you see, the storefronts along North Wayne or Lancaster, but many service businesses, you never really see their names, but we help them to build their businesses around the community.
Okay, that is, and how many members are in the WBA?
We're a little over 200.
That is a lot more members than one would think.
Exactly.
When you think
and it's
about
not
downtown.
Everybody's necessarily based in Wayne, but they do business in Wayne.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so now I'm not even going to use that unprecedented word to talk about things that are happening right now, but we do want to kind of dive into what is happening in downtown Wayne, specifically with the tent. I know that that's been there since when?
June 10th.
June 10th, okay. And,
to be specific.
And give me the story of how that started and where you're going with it. And
right. Well, when the first shutdown happened, we thought, oh, it's just going to be a month. It'll be like Memorial Day. Okay, sure. And then, of course, that didn't happen. And we are so grateful and still grateful to the Radnor Township Board of Commissioners and the manager, Bill White, for coming up with this idea of a tent. And it gave an opportunity for the restaurants to offer outdoor seating where they weren't allowed to. So we were still kind of in the red zone.
Okay.
And so I think we were moving into the yellow zone at this point, not quite in the green zone when it came up in June. We're like, great, we'll do it for a month. It'll support everyone. And then we were lucky enough to have 118 North, have some live music, and it was bringing people out of their homes and starting, because obviously people were driving up to the restaurants and getting takeout.
Right.
But it wasn't necessarily bringing foot traffic to some of the stores that were allowed to open and things like that. So that's how it came about. And again, the township set it all up. They provide cleaning and all the things that were necessary to like safety protocols. They did that. And each month we were like, well, okay. We might need this a little longer, and it's really popular, and it's giving the community a place to meet. And it wasn't just like for drinks and dinner. People were using it to meet for coffee and have a socially distanced networking meeting, like the WBA has our board meetings there. So it wasn't just the nighttime from Wednesday to Sunday. It was all during the week. People would grab lunch at Paula's or whatever restaurant along North Wayne Avenue, bring it over there and sit and visit. And we've seen children there for classes. And before the schools were, in person, they kind of, you see some kids, they're doing some classwork together. So
it's been a lifesaver during these.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not
COVID.
along North Wayne Avenue all the time, but I feel like every time I drive by, there's somebody like having a cup of coffee, and it just gives somebody a place outside of their home and sometimes outside their office, just to kind of take a break and be out.
Excellent. And has there, it must be expensive to have that tent be up for these many months. I mean, who sponsors the tent?
Well, again, we're lucky enough to have the township pay the bulk of it.
Okay.
But we have done things where we've gotten sponsors for different events for the tent. We thank all our sponsors who have done that over the season, and we have these great masks that support it. The 19087 face masks.
Nice.
These support that, and we have
Thank you for doing that.
Yes. You can get those at Christopher's, Out There Outfitters, Wayne Art Center, and Mainline Print Shop.
Oh, so good to know. Good to know.
$10, 2 for $15. But it's a great way to support, show your hometown pride and support your hometown. So those funds all go straight to paying for the tent. Also, we have a GoFundMe
Oh, wow.
that's been set up.
Okay.
So that's how we're helping. So the sponsor dollars we get through our events, like we had a trick or treat event, just the tent in general, and then we have a Shop Small coming up the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and then we have December 5th is our Santa event. We've kind of condensed what we normally do to keep it socially distant, and because we all know, if you're from Wayne or from the local community, you know how huge our Christmas event is, and we just can't have thousands of people on top of each other on the street for the Christmas tree lighting. So the tree will be lit, of course, but this Saturday afternoon gives us an opportunity to welcome our favorite Santa to Wayne, and that'll be in front of the tent, and with the support of the police department, the township. We'll have Girl Scouts there, and I think there might be Boy Scouts selling ready. So we'll have some business and merchants and holiday promotions going on. It's just, and again, it just brings some street foot traffic to the street. So hopefully people come, and then they can enjoy lunch and go shopping, at our lovely independent bookstore, Main Point Books.
Wait, so let me get this straight. So we're not having the tree lighting. No. So, but the tree will be lit.
It will be lit.
And that comes out as a little disappointment.
I will not disclose exactly the date.
Okay.
Because I feel like if we say it, then the street will be full. So we
But we are going to have a lit tree.
We are. The lights are actually on the tree.
Okay.
Good
to know.
Thank you to Keith Martin and Steve Schreiner.
Thank you, Keith Martin and Steve Schreiner. And we know how many people look forward to this
very
event.
much. We were starting to get calls in October, like, oh, what about the tree lighting? What about? And that's a huge event for us. It's one of our marquee events in Wayne, and it brings so many people from the surrounding community along the main line. It's one of the larger Christmas events along the main line, and it is just heartbreaking to say, no, we're not doing it.
But we can still celebrate. We still are going to have Santa come on the next
Saturday, December 5th. Yes.
Okay, December 5th, and kids can come out, and families.
Yes, we'll have it set up to be socially distant. It's free, take your own, but Santa will be there, and if they want to drop their Santa letter in, he has a basket. He takes all that. So.
All right, excellent. Good to know. All right, and are there been any challenges with the tent? Has it been?
I think at the outset, people were concerned because they're like, are people wearing masks? It is an open environment, kind of just as everybody over the summer went to the beach, or they were going to parks or going to hikes.
Right.
That was how that was set up. We have the tables appropriately spaced according to all protocol from the state. So yes, there was a little pushback, but our thought was if you're concerned, then don't come to the tent.
Okay. All right.
So it's like,
there.
Take heed and govern yourself accordingly.
And working with the township really closely with trying.
Oh, huge. Yeah, we talked to them. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't
know. And I will tell you, people police themselves in a way, but all of our restaurateurs along North Wayne Avenue have been so great and so supportive. And they kind of, keep an eye out for things happening there and kind of, remind people why they're there. Mm-hmm.
And is that part of the WBA's responsibility? Do we...
Well, we often get called on for things like that, but not necessarily, but because we're part of the sponsorship and we're kind of on the street more often, or not necessarily myself, but other board members.
Right.
So yes, that is a little bit of what we do, but not normally. I mean, we do events, but I would say not what we do.
Okay. Well, it's good to
always manage everything like that. Yeah.
The best we can. So we support the business. You support the businesses and do the best you can but not police when it comes to COVID restrictions. All right.
Yeah, we put everything out there. We ask everybody to mask up, Radnor. All of that, and make that suggestion. But certainly, we can't police it or make anybody feel bad about it.
Good. Okay. Good to know. All right. And then along those lines, as a residential realtor, I get asked all the time, why can't we get certain businesses into Wayne and Radnor in the business district? What are the parameters around that? How does that work? Why are there empty spaces? As the president of the WBA, I'm sure you get asked a lot too.
All the time.
Can you just speak to me a little bit about how businesses come into town centers and what we think as the WBA thinks as a board of?
Right. First of all, to put it out there, the WBA has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
You
mean nothing to do with bringing businesses in?
Correct. I mean, we are a resource for people to connect them with landlords or to connect them with township or like the planning commission or zoning and things like that. We are a conduit, if you will, but we're not necessarily going out and saying, hey, gosh, we would really love to have, I don't know,
ABC hobby toys.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly. I won't pick a topic because then I'm sure
Right.
somebody will say like, why would we ever want that in Wayne? I won't say what I want, but
Okay.
you know. But yeah, so we don't necessarily do that. And there are, you know, each building along North Wayne, or what we would call the we call it the WBOD, which is the Wayne Business Overlay District. So that kind of encompasses essentially from Luella up to Bloomingdale, or the Wawa, if you will. So Luella Avenue.
And then North Wayne to
and North Wayne to South Wayne. Yes, so that T, or the big I guess you could call that.
And we do have Garrett Hill as another business district in Radnor that we do work as well with. Okay.
So similar idea that we have multiple landlords that own properties and different types of properties, and they're residential, they're commercial, they're zoned differently. But you know, the thing about retail and boutiques in the environment, it's an ebb and flow. And it just happens to be that we're on a low ebb right now.
Okay.
With the pandemic, it's been hard. And
for everybody.
Right. I mean, restaurants, you know, because they had the takeout business, they were able to sort of, you know, sustain. And we've been lucky not to see any restaurants close in Wayne, truthfully. And, you know, when it comes to it just... you know, the boutique business is hard, whether it's during a pandemic or not.
Right.
And so...
is it possible also that some of the boutiques who have gone out were at the end of their useful business life?
Or
where
maybe
they were ready?
Yes. I think that some of them may have already been preparing before COVID hit.
Right.
To say, you know what, this is bigger space. I'm going to take a different direction.
Right.
I mean, certainly the Gap, everybody, that's one of the largest ones we have sitting there empty, which is always disappointing to see as you drive along Route 30. But they were going to go out whether COVID hit or not. They were already planning on closing, even though Wayne was one of a higher performing stores along the main line.
Right.
But so while we don't have that, but we, you know, the brokers, the real estate agents, the landlords are the ones that go out and search for those businesses.
Right.
And then they look at what the zoning is in Radnor Township. And, you know, zoning is always going to be, you know, massaged, if you will, to make things so, you know what, we could use that type of business. And, you know, looking ahead at what, you know, the retail environment is like, everyone's like, oh, no, don't go to the mall. No, don't. But I mean, we can offer you a lot here in Wayne. But, you know, looking at like, there would be service retail as opposed to just like product retail.
Okay.
So there would
Can you explain what that means? Like, give me an example.
Like a medical services, but they also might sell, you know, or a boutique.
You mean so like a medical with rehab and
yes, exactly.
so services
like
that
or like a high-end med spa where they sell product and then they provide a service.
Okay.
Not that we don't have. I mean, believe me, we have plenty to offer in Wayne, but that's just an example of what could be. I mean, as an example, Wayne Sporting Goods.
Right.
That was that changed hands, and the business that went in there is a flooring store. Well, they're using it as a showroom.
Sure.
And, you know, a design center. And
but
so
there'll be service that is offered
so
from
it's
that.
not just like you're going in and I'm taking this t-shirt off the rack.
Right.
It's a combination of service and retail there. So
is that only germane to Radnor, or is that in Wayne, or does that you see that as a trend?
It's probably a trend. I mean, just because we've been asked about it. And I mean, there's so much retail space out there, you know, and sometimes towns can't support it because they don't have the density for it.
Sure.
You know, like they just don't have the foot traffic.
Yeah.
So
which is the case here as well. We're a town of 30,000 people.
Exactly.
And some surrounding towns, there's a finite amount of people that can
exactly.
come in.
And what's happening now is we really don't have the foot traffic because with the offices, I mean, we're not supporting. I mean, and hopefully over the next 6 months, you're going to see.
True.
You know, the levels of people, the populations in Brandywine Trust or at Radnor Financial Center or at Stratford Commons. I mean, even the small offices, you're going to see that surge back for those people to be on the street. Oftentimes, though, they're there for food.
Right.
You know, so the retail doesn't always get supported
Sure.
that way. So,
Okay.
I mean, you hope to see that start coming back. I mean, people are calling, people are interested.
Right.
And sometimes it's people, let's say, who have been in an industry or been in a corporate level, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to take this as my opportunity to start something new.
Okay.
Or maybe it could be people from Philadelphia who are saying, gosh, the environment is really difficult, so I'm going to go out, you know, to a smaller town. It's safer, parking, all those things. So
something I've been saying to my residential clients is, you know, most of the empty storefronts, if you will, are for lease, which means they're not for sale. It means that they're
Correct.
still, it's a good sign. It means that they still can afford to hold on to those properties. They're working or negotiating with
very much so.
appropriate business.
Well,
but there is no master plan.
No, there is not a master plan, although I will say that that's certainly something that the Board of Commissioners and our township manager is talking about. I mean, that's that's on the periphery right now, because obviously there's always the things that are most important that they have to take care of. But you know, another thing to keep in mind about Wayne is that we are, and I hate to say the best, I don't want to say, look, we're the best in the main line.
You can say that, but you're the president.
Of course I think that. But no, I guess what I'm trying to say about Wayne is we are one of the only towns along the main that has a town center. We are like the original town center. You know, I won't talk about anybody, you know, all those like, you know, fake town centers. We are a town center, and you don't see that little crossroads that we have at North Wayne and South Wayne. And you and I know, having lived here for as long as we have and raised our children here, it's almost like Pleasantville or Mayberry. I mean, people call it different things, but you walk down the street and people know you. You walk down, you're like, hey, Chris, hey, Aunt Amy. Like, you see people, and then that's what makes a business want to start here, because they'll stand at their doorway and they'll see people, and maybe it's not necessarily a customer specific to them, but they'll see those same kids on the Friday afternoons coming from Radnor Middle School. They'll be out and they'll like have their morning coffee, like, oh, hey, hi, and people are talking. I mean, it's
well, you said early on in our conversation, connecting commerce and community, which is something that Radnor is really well known for.
And
very much so. And surrounding towns as well.
And
you know, so
I mean, for Wayne, I mean, like the township, we get a lot of focus from the township because we're it. I mean, between us and Garrett Hill, we're the two towns that are like the commerce, where they get their business taxes and things like that. So of course they're going to support. But like other townships and other counties don't have that leisure. They have multiple towns. So we're very lucky in Wayne to have to be kind of.
Well, you make an interesting point. I don't know if I've thought of this before, but we only have one township with that where the town center is connected to. So it's not like you're dealing with several townships. So that makes a really unique partnership.
Very much so. We are really lucky. I mean, like I said, the township is extremely supportive.
So grateful for, I'm sure.
We are.
Yes, excellent. Well, speaking of the township, so something that comes up all the time as we're trying to bring businesses into Wayne, and people love to talk about it. Parking.
I will tell you, I have historical things from like back in the 40s.
From the Wayne Business Association?
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that the WBA was started, not only to connect commerce and community, is to deal with parking.
Okay, right. So there it is.
That's like over 80 years ago. But really, I mean, every town you go to, whether you're in a shore town, you're along the main line, you know, I mean, every region, it seems, that is a large profit center.
Okay.
So
what do you mean by that? So the revenue from the parking goes to directly to the township? Or?
Correct, it does. And we do get some of that in the WBA. Again, grateful to the township. This was instituted about 5 years ago, I want to say, were those outlying lots. Like, we don't get any of the money from like along North Wayne Avenue or anything, but like they, previous president to me had arranged for, Chris Todd arranged for like discount cards for people that work in the stores and restaurants to have a discount card to park in the larger lot. So I do that because it's like over here, the AT&T, I call it the AT&T lot, across from White Dog and all there at, what's that road? Bellevue. And then Waynewood and South Wayne.
Right.
So those are the long-term lots. You can park for 10 hours. And behind Wayne Press, like over there by the train station, there's 10-hour parking.
Okay.
And really, when you think about it, it's quite a bargain. $1 an hour is not
Right.
And I know everybody would like to pull into a spot and get right in front of their favorite restaurant or right in front of their shop.
Right.
And we do hear it all the time, but really there is enough parking in Wayne.
Okay. So
And-
where else is there parking besides the Wayne Presbyterian lot, the AT&T lot? That's what we call it. Or and how about the South Wayne lot? Is
That's all 10-hour parking there, and that right on the other side of the library.
Right. Does the middle school get those spots?
No, they do. Okay, so the lot that's next to the firehouse is the middle school's lot.
Okay.
Across the street is a public lot.
And that is actually pretty close to town.
It
but
is.
Sometimes you don't think of it as,
Right, and there's a strip of 5 spots and right by, I mean, there's actually like 9 spots that,
Right.
that old bank building across from the post office, that's also 2-hour parking there. So if you're going to a movie or whatever, so.
And I understand that South Wayne lot is actually going to see some improvements. It's on
It
the
is on the docket,
It's
yes.
on the township's planning.
It is.
So
It
there's
is.
going to be some trees and some repaving at some point.
Repaving, stormwater management.
That's what they're working, stormwater, which would be huge.
Yes.
So what is happening in parking right now? So I mean, is it
Right.
free
So we
parking? Is
okay.
it?
Oh, right. Yes. Well, we have the kiosk still, and thank you again to the township for, we've had free parking since March.
Really?
So free parking.
So great.
And well, the signs have been like, please respect to only be here for about 2 hours, because we like the turnover, and that's why you have 2-hour parking, whether it's in Wayne, the city, any town, is for turnover. So it gives stores the opportunity to have new customers pull up in front of their store. So that is why we don't have all-day parking in front of other, all our location, or on North Wayne and Route 30 there. But right now, what's happening is every year we always have Saturday free parking for the holidays. But we've had a compromise to ease back into paid parking. We have long weekend free parking. So it's Thursday through Sunday is free.
Okay.
Free.
So
all day.
starting now, Thursday through Sunday is free.
Yes.
And then
Monday through Wednesday, you pay.
Okay.
And it says it on all the kiosks. So like if you look at the screen, it will tell you, hey, you don't have to pay today. Or hey, you have to pay today.
That's okay.
Yes,
That's good to know.
you. Yes, they're able to change that kiosk.
Excellent.
So that's the nice thing about having those and there's signage, and we'll have some additional signage as we get closer, like next week with Small Business Saturday and all of that. Like, so people that are, we hope to see more people on the street, obviously with what's going on right now.
Right.
That's all kind of like,
Okay.
so you just wait to hear what they're going to say, that we can do or not do.
Yeah, you just brought up Small Business Saturday. What does that look like? And
probably not the same as we're used to, of course, but we're promoting Shop Local in Wayne, Shop and Dine Local in Wayne. We're going to have gift bag giveaways, that day out there by the tent. Everybody's doing different promotions, but really it's not just about going to your local restaurant or your local merchant. It's also your service providers. Remember, there's a ton of small business owners along the main line in Wayne that are, the pandemic has hit them as well. So think about, I'll give you an example. Want to have your things printed locally as opposed to online. Order things that you can get, instead of going to Home Depot, go to Do It Best. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to go to Do It Best? They're like the best. They really are the best. I mean, I feel like I walk in there and I'm like, and they're like, oh, you need, like, they just know what you need, like, right away. But, which is, I think, every store you go in Wayne, I feel that way.
I do too.
But yeah, that's Small Business Saturday, that's the whole promotion.
Right.
But
and what's the date on that?
Oh, Saturday, November 28th.
Okay, so that's coming up before the holidays.
Before Christmas,
Santa. Okay, so
and I like to say it's always sunny in Wayne. So
it is always sunny in Wayne. Liquid sunshine when it's not.
Right, and I mean, there's something about moving to a town that feels like a small town.
Yes.
It's part of a large, the main line. But I think when people look for houses, like Wayne is probably at the top of a lot of lists, because there's that community feel that I'll go back to the beginning of the conversation. You feel connected and it feels like a community. Whether the kids go to private school or public school, there's that overlap, the kids in the neighborhoods and business owners, you see people out and about.
Schools connected.
Yeah, like how we met.
Look how we met. And you're a lifelong Radnor girl.
Yes. I graduated from Radnor in 1987. So so we raised I know.
And have you seen a lot of changes?
The stores have changed. I mean, things have been built.
Yeah.
It's not as sleepy.
Yes.
I think it's definitely gotten busier. But no, I think the heart of it has stayed the same. I really do.
And if you could envision the future for Radnor, what does it look like?
Oh, well, all the storefronts filled, of course. The continuation of the community support is huge here. I mean, you really feel it. People are like, no, I really want to support local businesses, and I just love to see businesses doing business together.
Right.
New
Supporting
ideas.
each
Yes.
other.
Mhm.
Yes.
New ideas. I mean, obviously, they'll have to move some things online digitally, so you can't do everything in person, but, kind of that coming together. I'd love to see stormwater managed in front of the post office so people aren't floating down there. That would be a great thing.
Yep.
And I know it's on the docket.
It's coming. Right?
But, that just the continuation of how special it is here.
And it doesn't happen overnight.
It doesn't. It's an evolution of things. And,
it.
you have different business owners that come in. You have different, board of commissioners. I mean, things get voted in.
Sure.
And as a reminder, always vote for your local officials because they're the ones that,
So true. So true.
that manage your taxes.
Deanna, you are a pleasure. I love speaking.
I could talk about Wayne for hours and hours.
I love speaking with you, and you really helped me today, learn some things about what's happening right downtown, the things that we care about, all of us. And is there anything else that you could tell us or direct us to places where people could find more information?
Mm-hmm. Well, first, our website is waynebusiness.com. Very easy. We also have waynechristmas.com.
Okay.
And then our social media is very lively. We have Facebook and Instagram, so we post to our social media, multiple times a week, and we always have our information out there and email. So info at Wayne Business if you have a question.
So just Google it, Wayne Business, and you'll get to the right places.
Yes.
And if you don't have to be a business owner to find out more things about what's happening in Wayne. And then also the township. Would you also
correct Radnor.com.
Okay, Radnor.com.
It's Radnor.com.
All right.
And they put a lot of information up there too.
So thank you.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
I'm
honored to be your first guest.
Deanna and I, we had fun talking about doing this because we kind of nicknamed it Wayne's World for our first show.
Party on guard.
So that's been exactly fun for me. And I really enjoyed doing this first episode of Around Town with Clare Girton. And I can't wait to see you next time.